We've now wrapped up day 2 of our filming, and it's been a whole lot of fun. And like yesterday, what I thought would be useful is to record a recap video, just in case you missed today, or in case you just want a little bit of a reminder of what we covered. So today we were filming the module on leadership. Really what we're talking about is the psychology of the business owner. And so when we really delve into that concept of leadership, we identified 5 pillars of leadership, 5 key features of a really solid leader relative to entrepreneurship. So one of the things we talked about today was vision, and that is having a really tight personal vision for why you're an entrepreneur and what you're building, and then also having a really solid company vision, a vision for the company moving forward that your team and that your clients and suppliers can all really get excited about. Then we talked about having a really core set of values. That is really determining what your company stands for. What are the principles that your company really values at the highest order? Now, there may be 20 or 30 values that your company really cherishes, but we're talking about the top 5 or top 7 values that act as the compass to all decision making and process development, and just even affect the way you communicate and the way you even set up things like marketing copy. By knowing your values, you really have a solid ability to make decisions, but also teach people within the company how to make decisions. I'll give you an example in the case of WildFit. One of our core values there in terms of delivery for clients is about freedom. So once we recognize that, it changes everything about the way we want to coach, the way our marketing looks, and so on. As an example, where we used to say to people, okay, what we'd now like you to do is to give up this food for a while. Once you recognize that one of your values is freedom, you say, what we'd now like to do is take a vacation from this food for a while. It's a subtle change, but when you get your values involved in the business, it really helps you to communicate effectively and provide really solid leadership. We also talked about being the chief emotions officer of your company. Regardless of which business title you use, whether you call yourself a CEO, a president, a managing director, or manager, the fact of the matter is that you are the emotional compass of the company. And so as my friend Chip Connolly says, CEO should stand for Chief Emotions Officer. So what does that mean? It means truly managing your state of mind. And it means that if you can't one day, if you just had that day that's just gotten on top of you, then that's the day not to go to work. Because one off day can really have an impact on your entire team. And so first of all, you aim to manage your state of mind and recognize you're the chief emotions officer. And if something's happened that's severe enough that you just can't seem to do it, then that's the day you don't go to work and allow the company to operate on its own. We also talked about effective communication from the perspective of a leader. And there are a couple of principles that I shared. I want to remind you. One is that, first of all, by understanding that you are the chief emotions officer, by really getting clear that that's who you are, it means that rather than allowing things to rile you up, or rather than reacting to things, you're able to take a pause and respond to stuff. That's real leadership. Then, because you've got that opportunity to respond, it means also taking a moment before you respond to get clear about your intentions or your strategic objectives. So before you answer the phone, before you write the email, before you communicate, you think about all of the objectives of the communication. So where you might want to communicate with somebody that they need to be on time more often, you may also want to remember in that communication to remind them that they're valued, to remind them that they have job security, to remind them that you respect them, and that you would like them to be there on time. When you're clear about all those objectives, it changes even your tone of voice in your communication, and certainly the way you handle written communication and written correspondence. And then we talked about impact. What is the impact that you want to have, and what is the impact that your company wants to have? We talked about this because, to a large degree, people are often willing to do a lot more for other people than they are for themselves. And so as you get really clear what the larger impact of your business is, when you get really clear about the dent that you want to put into the universe, it's going to create a situation where challenges that come up in your day become far less significant. You're going to see them as obstacles to climb over rather than blocks on the road to your success. Having a really clear idea of the impact that you want to have can really change that. And then also, people are more inclined to join forces with you. Whether you're talking about customers that are buying from you, investors that are investing, lenders that are lending, employees that want to come and work for you, people will be attracted to you if they feel like you have a really serious desire to have a positive impact. So those are some key principles we talked about in leadership. And then, because we got a little bit ahead on the filming schedule, we started to touch on how to scale your business and your quality of life. That's a big distinction. As I said this morning, there are tons of programs and books out there about how to scale your business. But what we want to talk about is how to scale your business and your quality of life. And so today, We went through role mapping. We discussed organizational charts as being a one-dimensional view of the company, but that when we delve in and create a role map, we get a holistic view of really what is happening in the company. And then once we populate the role map and we put people into it, we get really clear about who is doing what, and we create the capacity for creating a prioritization that'll allow you to build the company the way you need to be. So for example, in the early stages, you probably either right now still are, or in the past, had to do jobs that you don't really love that much, or maybe that you're not even all that good at. And so the role map allows us to prioritize those things and create a roadmap from the role map toward real business freedom. In effect, allowing you to start to think about quitting those jobs and getting the people, other people that are in the wrong boxes out of those jobs as well. That led us onto a conversation of proceduralization. So how does that work? Remember, if you've got a box that you know that somebody's in the wrong box, either because they don't like it or because they're not good at it, or probably because of both, then you highlight that box and immediately you create a list of all the processes that exist inside that box. And then your next step after that is to then document the procedures behind those processes. And over time, as a result of doing that, you come to a place where your entire business becomes so beautifully proceduralized that hiring and training people is easy, and that one day exiting from the business is possible. Of course, tomorrow we'll pick up where we left off with that, and we'll talk about some really tangible psychological and logistical things you can do to make those exits easier. Whatever exit strategy you have in mind in the future, these small mini exits that you make out of some of the smaller jobs that you don't need to be doing are absolutely key to whatever exit strategy you have in the future. Remember that if your business still needs you to be in it, you're more self-employed than you are a business owner. It's a whole lot easier to sell the business when you own it than when it owns you. So that was day 2 of filming. I'll see you tomorrow.